recognize him out of his Koshi scare, Doug Jones. And last but not least, Maggie Sarah Carter. All right, let's get started. First of all, it sounds like some crazy stuff happens right off the bat this season, and everyone's kind of spread out. But I'm wondering, Moon, maybe we'll start with you. Talk about what's the big story? What's the theme as the season begins this year?
Well, so this year you see that the whole second mass has been reunited. It's been about 4 months, and you see us approaching Charleston, and then all hell breaks loose. We basically all get separated into these pods, and I am separated from my daughter again. I am now on a mission to find her. Lexi is with Maggie, you, and Connor. Yep. Noah is off in, I guess, sort of like a Warsaw ghetto. All the characters are in different storylines, and eventually you see us come back together and stay in a place called Chinatown. That becomes our new Charleston. And you see, that trailer looks amazing. Oh my God, you do this work, and then you watch the trailer and go, is that our show? That's great. So, this year is jam-packed with tons of action. You still have, the Vaughn are not as involved this year, but Cochise is, of course, because we have to have Doug Jones.
I love you.
And Sarah and I were just discussing this. This is definitely a season of more female power. Right?
Yeah. Moon is incredible in season 4. And Glass finally, takes the lead as the warrior. And man, you really, really pulled it off. You took it to the next level. It's amazing. You just saw that. How incredible does Moon look in the trailer?
Yeah, I know, right? She's not just a doctor anymore.
I lost my stethoscope somewhere. I don't know.
So, Doug, at the end of last season, Cochise sort of said farewell to the second mass. So, where is he when we return this year?
That would be the big question as season 4 starts, is where the hell is Cochise? Because as Moon just described, it's going down. Everybody's separated in different little pods, everyone's in captivity, and where are the Vaughn? The Vaughn were supposed to be here. Where are the Vaughn? They're supposed to protect us from this. Ah! They don't act like that, I promise. They're more mature about it. Although they do go a little crazy. Everybody in the show goes a little crazy this year.
It is a crazy year.
They do.
This is a crazy year for all of us. Yeah.
Right, but meanwhile, Cochise keeps his calm and cool. I'm a consistent character. I do show up in episode 1 of season 4, and I explain where the Vaughn have been. And that would be that we have other battles than just you Earthlings. Stop being so egotistical. The Ishveni are everywhere, and so we have to be everywhere as well. There's an imminent threat to the Vaughn elsewhere that we had to go. So the mothership. Yeah, I know, right? And the ship's bigger than that, so it's like. So my dad, Waschacha'ab, also played by me, I might add.
We're short on budget.
Thank you. Thank you. Talk about schizophrenia. Yes, father, son. The major Vaughn force and our gun power and manpower is gone. What's left on Earth is a small recon team led by Cochise and a few of his soldiers, and we're kind of like costume change this year. We got a hood on. You saw like one little glimpse of me in that trailer. I'm kind of blending into the forest now. We're in hiding. The Ishveni don't really know that there's some Vaughn still left on Earth, so that's what we want to keep them not thinking that we're here. So we kind of show up when we need to, and then disappear again. So we're kind of more mysterious. And so that's kind of where we're at right now. But we're still keeping an eye on things on Earth. But we have, and the major Vaughn force is gone, and we have to communicate with them somehow when we can, if we can. Oh, the issues.
So.
Maggie and Sychelle, where do your characters end up getting scattered after this opening bit?
We both end up in Lexi's world, which is a bit of a hippie commune, and entirely
In Chinatown.
Yeah, there's communal showers, which Maggie gets in, and it was not comfortable. Yeah.
There's a lot of people here who would disagree with you.
It happens. But, you know, we don't have any weapons, and so Maggie's really uncomfortable in that world. And my God, Lourdes is
a new person, very, very changed and very, very cautious and adamant about not wanting to put her new piece and her new non-harming personality into jeopardy. She's so into being a light instead of being the darkness that she was involuntarily made into last season.
You're also devoted to Lexi.
Very devoted to the person who saved me. I think Lourdes feels a very, very motherly love towards Lexi and a very passionate protection. You know, nothing should happen to her since she didn't let the worst happen to me.
Lourdes' character is probably, the most, I would say the most transformed this year. You are the one that leaps, I think,
Definitely.
the farthest, and you see such a transformation with Lourdes. And normally we get a lot of scenes together, and we're actually at odds with each other, because what's happening with, you can see beautiful Lexi, my daughter is now growing exponentially and is now this like beautiful young woman, but we don't know where her allegiance lies. We don't know, is she good, is she bad? And you know, like any mother, you protect the goodness in your child, you believe in it relentlessly, but you can see the second mass is having an internal struggle with where Lexi's loyalty lies. So we have always an external threat happening. There's always aliens that are, you know, trying to kill us, but then we also have an internal threat, and it's also amongst each other because we're not all in unison. We're not all simpatico about what we think we should do with Lexi.
Yeah, and actually Maggie is skeptical of Lourdes' dramatic character shift. And I think that's probably the most important thing about Maggie's character in the next season and in this world is she doesn't know if it's okay that she's drinking the Kool-Aid. She is drinking the Kool-Aid. She drank a lot of the Kool-Aid. And then she sobers up in a painful way. Right? And I think for every character this season, we're completely flipped upside down, and we don't understand any of the relationships we're faced with anymore. Every character looks completely different to themselves and to each other, and but I think it is where the show needed to go, so kudos to David Icke.
We show up at our table reads, it's when we sit together, we all read the script, and all of us would look at each other and go, wow, like what, this is so different than any of our seasons.
Some of us cry.
Yes, we were just like, I don't, all the actors that normally we would work with, we just got separated from, and we were working with, you know, we all know each other off set, but usually you work with a certain character. You're usually always with Drew, and so we had scenes where we were with completely different people. So that was actually made it exciting, but it was also hard for us to kind of find our through line sometimes for our characters and make sure we were consistent.
In some ways, it sounds like it's a new show with the same continuity because of all this change in your personalities and who your acting partners are.
Yeah, I think even just who we're playing seems almost like new people. I mean, like 180 for Anne. Lourdes has the same values, but the way that she exhibits them is so completely and drastically different than the beginning. She will see.
Now, Sarah, you sort of hinted at this earlier. Maggie has trust issues on a good day.
Yeah.
I mean, how is this going to work for her, especially
She's on a bad day.
especially after everything that went down with Lourdes last season? Is she going to be okay with that?
No, Maggie's not okay with anything. She wants to get to the bottom of this. She's in this world where she's dealing directly with the aliens. There's no question that they are up to something. They have very strong intentions, and we're all being affected, and we're being told one thing that we would like to believe. Certainly Maggie wants to believe it, does believe it, and then, you know, realizes that that was something she shouldn't have trusted, and back to that typical, I can't trust anyone, I'm alone in the world. Yeah.
But she had something, I can tease this, something dramatic happens to me.
I'm avoiding it.
Oh, right. We'll just tease it a little bit. Something happens, it's very dramatic. I get to be there, I get to be involved, and I think it was a really cool thing for Maggie's character, who is sort of at odds with herself a lot of the time. But you see something happen, and you see two characters, Drew and or Ben, and how you see them sort of kind of fight over her and figure out what to do.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask. That's looks like we saw a kiss there.
What?
Ooh,
What?
In a trailer.
I didn't see that. There's a kiss.
Who did you kiss?
You guys saw that?
Looked like you were reaching into
Oh
somebody.
man,
who looked like
I
Ben.
have a lot of, I struggle
Right,
with
kissing bandit.
even talking about the love triangle, because it's like Maggie's experienced so much betrayal last season. She was dealing with Hal betraying her, and she had to accept the whole scenario, and she did, and they overcame it, and they love each other, and then all of a sudden it's like, Maggie is in the position of betraying, and that is more painful, by the way, than, I mean, Maggie's taught me so much as an actress, but being the betrayer is, and being conscious of it, is so twisted. That is such a hard pill to swallow. So she's swallowing it. What's happening?
And on the trust theme also, can Lourdes trust herself?
Yes, I think maybe the reason she's so kind of vocal with her faith this year is because she really wants to prove it to herself, and as long as she's with Lexi, you know, the girl that can heal and the girl that has this peaceful aura about her, as long as Lourdes is around that, she's okay. And I think when that gets threatened a little bit, you know, when maybe Lourdes and her motherly instincts and Ben and his brotherly instincts get, you know, put against each other, Lourdes kind of freaks out a little bit, because that's maintaining her sense of that she's okay, kind of thing. So yeah, I think she does for the most part.
Yeah, but I feel like it's really interesting to watch her stuff with Lexi though, because her, Sychelle as an actor, fully committed, because that's not easy to change your character and suddenly just shift into a completely different gear. But you, Sarah and I have talked about, I mean, you embraced that part, and Lourdes feels like, I feel like Lourdes is fully committed to her mission. Like, she's not going to deviate.
Yeah.
And this girl saved you, Lexi. You were so indebted to her. Yeah.
She's a Lexi freak.
Plus, your wardrobe looked great this year.
Yeah, can we talk about the dress?
Talk about your dress. It was amazing.
Doug, so we talked about Cochise and the Volm having other matters to attend to, but I don't know about the Volm in general, but I know Cochise seemed to develop a real affinity for the second Mass and for Tom. So is it important for him to get back with them and to kind of come to their rescue on a personal level, if the Volm can have personal levels?
Absolutely, and I believe that's why Cochise volunteered to stay on Earth while all my people went back to fight the good fight out there in the universe, is because of my relationship with the second Mass. I kind of want to keep watch over them from the woods, you know, to be there, because I learned so much. Cochise learned so much about the humans through season 3, like you know, because we came to Earth with our mission, as we've done on many planets many times before over the last few centuries, which is arrive on planet, take the indigenous species, put them in a safe place, fight off the Ishveni, give them their planet back. Bye. This time it's like, well, wait, I was here early enough before my dad arrived, before I arrived, to say, and I got to know these humans as something different than I'd ever encountered before. the indigenous species on Earth are fighters and lovers and communicators, and they have this strength of spirit that I've never encountered before in anyone but the Volm. So I was like, wow, how did that, who are these? So that's why by the time my father arrived at the end of season 3, and he was like old school, we're going to do what we've always done before because that's the way we do it. And I was like, Dad, wait, these are my friends, right? So then you realize Cochise has daddy issues of his own. Okay, it's not just Tom and the kids. I love the parallels in the show. I do. So that will continue throughout season 4. Yes, my love and respect and admiration of the human spirit will continue for sure. And where is Dad and all that? Like most fathers, he just isn't around enough.
I hope they have some...
Not that I have issues. Fine.
Hope they have some Volm therapists. One of the new things that we saw briefly in this trailer on the show is Mira Sorvino is going to be around. So I don't know, did any of you work with her, or was she in a separate storyline? What can you tell us about her and her character?
Mostly with Colin Cunningham's character, John Pope. She's a kind of a can we say a love interest or they were holding each other. We can say it. Okay, good. Yeah. Mira Sorvino, Oscar-winning Mira Sorvino. Yeah. Right.
She is. Yes,
She's
awesome. Yeah.
the only person I think that to make Pope a little vulnerable.
Exactly. It's nice to see a change for him as well.
Yes.
He's another character that's been very defined as the baddie. He's like talk about that internal conflict that the second mass has had. He's always been like the one who stirs it up and puts a in everybody. And this year he's got this beautiful woman comes by who's a little cray-cray on her own. Right, and for Pope to find her attractive, she has to be a little cray-cray. So you'll watch that blossom and bloom and bud. Yeah.
Anyone else new on the cast this year?
Oh God, Robert Sean Leonard is still on the show.
Scarlett Byrne.
Scarlett
who plays
Byrne.
a marvelous, really magical Lexi.
So you...
Treva.
Treva.
Why can't I say Treva's last name?
What's that? Oh yeah.
It's French and really hard.
Yes.
Treva.
What's that?
I call him Leva.
Etienne. Oh, there you go. Treva Etienne. And he plays...
England.
He's got a great, he stays on the whole season.
Very,
wonderful.
very pivotal.
He's with Hal the whole time.
Yeah.
A South African engineer that we found along the way, and he's a great addition to the show. Offers a lot of information that I don't have to spit it all out myself now. He helps. Yeah.
He helps.
I have a lot of scenes with you, and you always have to say the
Well,
craziest jargon.
We're not going to say on who, but you and I get to do a surgery on someone together.
We do!
We do!
With your
We
massive
do.
hands.
High five.
Yeah! You kill it! We call it Volm field medicine, whatever that is.
Exactly.
Oh my God, we do a serious surgery.
The show really is nuts this
It's not as crazy.
I'm
It's
not
crazy.
in it now. I'm really, what are you talking?
It's like 17 different storylines.
I think we should do a sitcom opening for the show, like all of us going, it's that different.
So, for the women on the panel, and Doug, you can chime in as well, because who knows what gender for the Volm really is. But one of the great things about this show is that it has so many strong female characters who are not defined by their relationships to men. They have relationships with men, but they're not defined by it. So I was wondering if you could just talk about the arc of how that's developed and how you feel, and looking at you, Moon, in what we've just seen in that trailer. I mean, seriously taking charge this season. But just talk about those themes.
It was so great for me this year because, as you guys know, I'm the doctor, and it was so great because I get separated from my daughter, and I just get to reach this level where I am so enraged. I've just hit a boiling point, and I'm relentlessly fighting for to find my daughter, and you see this rage come over Anne, and it was so great to play. I mean, I just could go there. I think before Anne was so mild and so even toned and always kind of keeping things tempered, but with Anne, I think when you have a child and someone's taken your child from you, and you know, this is not the first time, this is the second time, there is no, I'm not being conscious of myself, I'm just trying to survive and find my daughter. So I got to be this warrior, and I got to kill and just be so filled with rage, and that's so much more fun to play than just, you know, well, we'll do another surgery again. That you know, yeah, those rubber, we can never put those rubber gloves
so
on.
hard
They're
to put
so
on in
hard.
a
That was like
single
the
let me
hardest
just
scene.
say.
I'd much rather shoot a gun than put those damn rubber gloves on. But also parallels in my own life, because I had a daughter, and then I had to play these scenes where I'm facing my daughter, who I've just lost her whole childhood. I mean, she's now this young, beautiful woman with a mind of her own, and I have to reconcile the fact that I lost her childhood, and yet I still have to parent her, I still have to guide her, and I still have to, you know, be a parent. And so that there was so much going on, and it was so much more fun to play for me because I had so much more to dig from. You know, there was just what was going on in my own life, and then also the storyline with Lexi. So that was great for me.
Yeah, Mama Bear is far more dangerous than any man. Yeah, I guess for Maggie, it was a breath of fresh air to be out of the romance for a minute and into this, well, she put down her guns and she softens, and she's holding space for enormous complexity, which is a wonderful feminine attribute. So yeah, she cleans up, and she's open to life in a different way that has nothing to do with her relationship to men. She's just kind of looking for the truth, and similarly to Lourdes, she wants to keep the peace.
I think for Lourdes, I think it's easy after you do something terrible and wrong to put your head down and be like, I'm sorry, it's all my fault, it's all my fault. And obviously Lourdes feels that way, but I think instead of being the, you know, the subdued, you know, girl who is afraid to come back to who she is, she comes back full force and isn't sorry for who she is at this point. She's not sorry for it at all. I think she's very proud of where she has come and the outlook that she's garnered on the way. So, it's all her.
From a Volm perspective, the only women we talk, are there any women Volm? You have to ask yourself this, because you've never seen one, have you? No. Well, no, I refer to them in episode 1 as our broodmates and our hatchlings. That would be our wives and kids that we have on another planet somewhere. Our broodmates and our hatchlings. Yeah, we have them. And they're very empowered. There.
Now, as you all know, season 4 of Falling Skies is going to premiere on Sunday, June 22nd at 10 o'clock on TNT, 9 Central. That's still a long way, and there's a huge gap between seasons, so we thought we would do something special for you here today and give you a sneak preview of the first scene from the season premiere of season 4 of Falling Skies. So let's roll some tape. How do you balance? You have to keep a show going. So, but the balance of giving them some victories, but also they can't win this war, or you have no more show. Like, what's that like to keep it going, but giving us hope that the second mass are going to make it?
Well, I think first off, David Icke, our new showrunner, was really intent on giving us some levity. I mean, it's a show that's relentlessly hard and despairing, and I think there are times when we try to find some humor, some normalcy, whether we're cracking jokes or we're all sitting around. There's one scene we're all sitting around and having a meal together. So we try to find these moments of peace and balance. But it's a sci-fi show, so we constantly have to take it up a notch. I mean, we always joke. We don't know how much further we can keep going, because you can only be at war for so long. So I don't know. It's not our job. We're just the actors. We hope the writers come up with some good stuff. But this year is really exciting, and I do feel like our climax is our finale is in my mind, the biggest finale we've ever had, just because of where we end up going, if I can say that. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that.
What she said.
Okay, let's take some audience questions. I can't see where the oh, there you are. Okay, just say your name before you ask your question.
Hi, my name is Jennifer. Huge fan. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Welcome to Wondercon. My question is, you talked about empowering women. I was wondering about the guns on the show and how much training did you have to go through to handle them, and what kind of gun did you get to shoot that you really was awesome?
We went through pretty extensive training the first season, and then the following seasons we would just do refresher training weeks. And this season was cool because we got to choose our guns. Everybody was stripped of their weapon they're used to normally, and we got to choose our new favorite toy. Maggie actually kept her guns because I'm pretty attached to my babies, and that was a point of contention with the writers, because they do have everyone in our world drop our weapons, and I said, hey, like Maggie has hid her weapons somewhere. She knows where they are, and she finds them, right? So that may or may not happen. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm also a huge fan of the show. And I was just wondering, Pope, when he was first introduced, and actually as long as he's been on the show, has been just this selfish thorn in everybody's side, but over time he's become basically more human. He's gotten more fleshed out as a character, and I was wondering, is he going to reach a point where he actually becomes likable?
Don't you like him?
I like him.
I think he's likable to the fans. I think you mean is he going to be likable to the second Mets?
You hate, yeah.
I like him as an action guy. I just think he's annoying.
Yeah, he's supposed to be obnoxious.
I think
He always
that's
gets
who
all
he
the great
is.
one-liners, right?
Yeah.
At one point in the scene, I just tell him to shut up. That's all I say. Yeah.
I think he's pretty Pope.
We love him though, because I actually think Pope gets to say what a lot of us are thinking as characters. He gets all the rock and roll lines. He's straight rock and roll. I mean, he's fun. He gets to be he brings the most levity on the show. I think Pope is one of our best characters.
He doesn't. It's his worst nightmare to be likable, right?
Yeah, he fights against that.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Logan.
Logan.
I've never seen the show before.
But
Either.
I think I want to see it.
So.
Okay, so what we saw in that part right there is her daughter, they got split up.
Mhm.
Are they ever gonna find each other again?
That would be me, Logan. That's my daughter. And, yes, we do get reunited. So we get separated. I think it's another 4 months we're separated. And as you can see, she's young. And the next time you see her, she's this beautiful, I don't know her exact age. I think she's 20. I think we keep that a bit ambiguous. She's gorgeous. You see her white hair? She's very pretty.
So she's like 7,
And then she just,
15 years later.
yeah, she's growing at a rapid rate, and it's because of half of her alien DNA. So I, as her mom,
That's the part you missed last season. Yeah.
Okay, when you come next year, you'll be all cut up, right? Yeah. Okay, good boy.
We're going to hold you to that.
Thank you, Logan. That takes a lot of courage.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Bloom. I have a question more for Sychelle Gabriel. I know your voices saw me on Legend of Korra, and I just want to know what what type of role exactly will she have in book 3? Are you allowed to give any information on that?
I think I'm allowed to give so much. Asami is still the badass getaway car babe, but maybe for another panel. It's gonna be dope though. So.
Dope. That's what the kids are saying.
I think that's not like a Nickelodeon term, though. I should say it's gonna be great.
Let's keep these questions to Falling Skies because there's so much to talk about. So let's stick with that.
This is for Doug.
Hey.
Whether it's Pan's Labyrinth or anything else, we always love seeing you in the makeup you do. It's amazing. But when are we ever going to get maybe a cameo of you without your makeup here in the show?
Oh, we did last season, actually, in season 3, during that the one episode where Tom wakes up and he's back in his life in Boston and everything's back to normal again. You remember he was a professor at the college. And we walked him through his work day, and he met all of Pope was another professor, and I was another professor in the teachers' lounge with Gloria Rubin. The two of us were kind of talking about where we were going to take our faculty vacation, our retreat. And I was sitting there giving, well, what about this or that? Good golfing there, Tom. And so only people who really knew me would know that, like, oh, that's Cochise, I get it. Yeah.
It's probably your favorite day on set because you didn't have to show
gosh.
up.
You guys have to see Doug on set. I mean, he sits in the chair. I mean, he can't eat. You can't do anything. And we all bitch and complain. And you just see him in this outfit that takes you how long? 5 hours?
No. This they've gotten it down to an hour and a half-ish. It's really good. It's really good.
Oh,
it's
I'm quicker than all the hair and makeup
Head
for
to
you
toe.
guys. I really am. Yeah.
Hi.
My name is George Chavez, and
Hi, George.
Hi, George.
And I wanted to know if you have a lot of fun doing all the action and stuff.
Yes. I don't get to do action very much, but I can say for someone who doesn't, the explosion scenes are really fun, but also really realistic and scary.
Yeah, like that day where you saw us, George.
Countermeasure.
Yeah, it was like 110 degrees. I mean, it was so hot. And yeah, they're fun. The action stuff. Sometimes it's really hard, but a lot of times it's a lot of fun.
I've never seen it before, but
You. It might be a bit of a hard show at your age.
Sunday nights, 10 o'clock on TNT.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi. Love the show, obviously. One thing I was really curious about, not that I want the show to end at all, I want you guys to stay and be awesome and whatever, but have the writers, producers, the show writers at all given any indication, any hints at all that they are formulating an end game to the story? Just because I know as a fan it's a big comfort to hear, like, don't worry, we know where we're going, we're not just gonna jump through a bunch of hoops as long as we can until we get canceled or something.
I don't know.
I haven't.
Look at you, tell we're just like.
Well, no, they definitely have ideas for the show, and every storyline has intention to an end. So, I mean, you're right. I remember when I joined the show, there was a Bible. There was this distinct Bible. And we've expanded on that, but generally the show has always been a world that, I think when it was originally conceived, had a beginning and an end. So yes, the day will come when it ends and everybody knows that, but hopefully they'll just keep stretching it,
I think it's a combo also of both. I think they improvise, they have like outlines, and they can go in like 4 different directions, and then they also improvise on the day. So it's kind of a combo, a dance that they're doing, because every year it changes, but they do have an idea and out.
Wasn't Weaver supposed to die in the first season?
Oh, well, originally in the, I think we're talking about that, I don't know, but in the first season, Weaver wasn't supposed to be a character that stayed.
And look at that.
Totally glad you kept him.
Yeah, me too. So glad.
Very
so
good
happy about
choice.
that.
And wasn't John Pope also a guest star in the
Yes,
role?
yes,
yes. So
guest star.
Pope was a guest star.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
And
things
then
changed.
he just keeps staying.
Fun fact.
Hi, I'm Christina, and I wanted to ask Moon on how having a child that grows up faster in the movies, is it complicated to try and adjust to an older child after like a few episodes ago you had a younger child?
You are so cute. Yes, it was really hard because when I get reunited with her, how I just don't have a reference point for that. I mean, I have a young daughter, but I can't imagine that I meet, my daughter's name is Pepper, I can't imagine I cut to 15 years later or 20 years later and I've lost that whole time, but yet she's still my biological daughter. So I had to, it was so hard for me to approach as an actor, like I'm her mother, yet I don't know her. She's a bit of a stranger and I missed that whole growth spurt, but I still have to be her parent. So you see her and I having a battle about who's in charge and questioning if my daughter even loves me, you know. So that's a great question, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Caitlin. So there's a lot about how Anne's changed. It's less the, Operation Gloves, more the guns. Does Tom get to see this change, or does he see her like after the change, and how does he sort of respond to that?
I think the first time we see each other, he's like, God, you look amazing. And I said, God, you look like crap. So those are like our first lines. So like any relationship, when somebody changes, you have to adjust in that relationship. So you see us go to battle about Lexi's innocence. You see that he has to sort of, take a step back and see that now I am one of his soldiers with him. I mean, we talk about strategy together, which was something Anne and Tom never did. And you also see that we take another step further in our relationship this year because of everything that's happened. And you see us sometimes, getting into these nasty fights, which was really fun for me and Noah to really get into it. Since those days were fun. So yeah, and he likes that new Anne, I think. Or I have a gun, so he better.
All right, we have time for one more question.
Hello, my name is Henriette, and my question is for Sychelle.
Hi.
I know that you play a doctor on the show, and I was wondering if you sort of learned anything from it. Like, I'm sorry that I have the shadow. If you learned any type of doctor terms.
Definitely. Actually, I'm not supposed to say this, but Moon and I pretended to be medical students and snuck into an ER for a day. And they told them, and we had people being like, do you want to change this person's IV? We're like, no, we're not those kind of, we have those kind of trainees.
No, they wanted us to change a catheter and that's what they wanted. They thought we were nurses.
But we learned a lot about
we're just observing today.
Yeah, that's maybe illegal. I think that if push came to shove, if I was stuck in a really grave situation, I might be able to. I think I would be able to maybe put an IV in somebody's arm and just know the strategic. Actually, Noah's had to do that because of all of his ER years. He has a story about how he was in a situation like that and he put in an IV, and he's not a professional, but a lot of the maneuvers actually you go through the basics. It's really interesting.
She can also surgically remove bunny ears if that's a problem later.
Just let me know after if you need anything.
Thank you. That's about all the time we have. But thanks everyone for coming out.
Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you, Sychelle.